The stars shimmered through the viewing port as Captain Olivia Bennett stood with her hands clasped behind her back. The bridge of the starship Resolute hummed with quiet activity. Earth's first diplomatic vessel was on a historic mission. After decades of sending signals to the stars, humanity had finally received an answer. "Captain, we're approaching the coordinates," said Navigation Officer Ryan Peters. His fingers danced across the control panel. "Thank you, Officer Peters. Ambassador Wright, are you ready?" Olivia turned to the tall, gray-haired man who had spent months preparing for this meeting. Alan Wright nodded, his expression serious, but hopeful. "As ready as I'll ever be. The future of humanity rests on making a good first impression." Olivia didn't voice her concerns. The Galactic Conclave, a coalition of 7 advanced alien species, had extended an invitation after detecting Earth's quantum communication signals. It seemed like a dream come true. Humanity welcomed into the cosmic community. Yet something felt off about the whole arrangement. "Science stations, report," Olivia called. Daniel Clark, the ship's lead science officer, looked up from his monitors. "All readings normal, Captain. The meeting station is exactly where they said it would be. Atmosphere inside is compatible with human physiology." Lisa Martinez, head of security, frowned. "Too compatible, if you ask me. It's almost like they prepared specifically for us." "Let's not look a gift horse in the mouth," Ambassador Wright said. "They're being accommodating hosts." Lisa's hand rested on her sidearm. "My job is to be suspicious, sir." The Resolute docked with the massive space station. It dwarfed their ship, a gleaming structure of unknown metals and crystalline surfaces. "Remember the protocol," Wright reminded the small delegation as they prepared to disembark. "Smile, but not too wide. Some species find exposed teeth threatening. Bow slightly but maintain eye contact, and for heaven's sake, no sudden movements." The delegation consisted of Captain Bennett, Ambassador Wright, Science Officer Clark, Security Chief Martinez, and Communications Specialist Greg Foster. They stepped through the airlock into a vast chamber with a high ceiling that seemed to shimmer with its own light. They weren't kept waiting. 5 beings approached, each distinctly alien yet with a basic humanoid structure. 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head. Their skin colors ranged from pale blue to deep purple. Their eyes were larger than human eyes, their fingers longer, their bodies more slender. One stepped forward, its silver skin reflecting the ambient light. "Welcome, humans of Earth. I am Xerex, first speaker of the conclave. We have observed your world's progress with great interest." Ambassador Wright bowed. "On behalf of all humanity, we thank you for this invitation. We come in peace and friendship." The aliens exchanged glances that Daniel noted seemed oddly tense. "Your species has advanced remarkably quickly," said another alien with feathery appendages where hair would be on a human. "From splitting the atom to quantum communication in less than 3 centuries. Most impressive." "We're curious by nature," Wright said. "Exploration is in our blood." The alien called Xerex made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Yes. Your biology. Fascinating subject." The delegation was led to a large circular table. As they walked, Lisa noticed how the aliens kept a careful distance from them. "Please be seated," Xerex said. "We have much to discuss about your potential place in the conclave." For hours, they talked about trade possibilities, technological exchange, and the rules of the conclave. Wright answered most questions, occasionally deferring to Captain Bennett on matters of Earth's defense capabilities, questions that came up with surprising frequency. During a brief recess, Daniel approached Olivia. "Captain, something's not adding up," he whispered. Their body language suggests fear. Not caution, actual fear. "I've noticed," Olivia replied. "And did you catch how they reacted when Greg sneezed? They practically jumped out of their skin." Lisa joined them. "They're far too interested in our military capacity, our physical abilities, and our environmental tolerances. This isn't standard diplomatic protocol." "Let's not jump to conclusions," Olivia cautioned. "Different species, different customs, but keep your eyes open. When they reconvened, a new alien had joined the group. This one had green scales and vertical pupils. "This is Srinvex, our biological sciences counselor," Xerix explained. "Humans," Srinvex said. "We understand your homeworld has approximately 1.0 g gravity, temperatures ranging from 50 to plus 150 degrees Celsius in inhabited regions, atmospheric pressure of 100 to 1.3 kPa, and radiation levels that fluctuate significantly. Is this correct?" "Yes," Daniel answered. "Those are the basic parameters of Earth. And your species evolved there naturally, without genetic modification?" The alien's tone was too casual. Daniel frowned. "That's right. We're the product of natural selection." The aliens exchanged those odd glances again. "Remarkable," Srinvex said. "And you personally can survive in how many Earth gravities?" "Humans can function briefly in up to 5 Gs with proper training, though it's uncomfortable," Daniel explained. "Uncomfortable," echoed Xerix. "Yes." As the meeting progressed, Ambassador Wright outlined humanity's hopes for membership in the conclave. The aliens listened, asked questions, and finally withdrew to deliberate among themselves. "Did anyone else find those questions strange?" Greg asked once they were alone. "Very," Lisa agreed. "They're treating us like we're some kind of threat," Daniel finished. "They're evaluating us as a potential threat." Hours later, the conclave representatives returned. "We have reached a decision," Xerix announced. "Earth will be granted probationary status within the conclave, with certain restrictions." Wright leaned forward. "What restrictions?" "Your species may not establish colonies beyond your current solar system without conclave approval. Your military vessels may not exceed certain size and armament limitations. And all human technology must be registered with the conclave for safety evaluation." "Those are severe limitations on our sovereignty," Captain Bennett said. "They are necessary precautions," Xerix replied smoothly. "All new species face similar restrictions until they have proven themselves compatible with conclave values." Wright and Bennett exchanged glances. This wasn't the welcome they had hoped for, but it was a start. "We accept these terms," Wright said finally, "as a show of good faith." "Excellent." Xerix's mouth formed what might have been a smile, but his eyes remained wary. "Welcome to the galactic community, humans." As they returned to the Resolute, Lisa fell into step beside Olivia. "They're hiding something, Captain." "I know," Olivia replied quietly. "But now we have a foot in the door, and sometimes that's all you need." Daniel, walking behind them, thought about the fear he'd seen in the alien's eyes. Not the fear of the unknown, but something deeper, something that made him wonder what exactly the conclave saw when they looked at humans. The Resolute detached from the station, carrying its crew back toward Earth with news of humanity's conditional acceptance into the stars. But as Olivia watched the alien station recede on the view screen, she couldn't shake the feeling that they hadn't really been invited in as equals. They'd been contained. 2 years had passed since first contact. The human diplomatic station orbited Alpha Centauri, a gleaming wheel of metal and glass against the backdrop of stars. Earth named it Unity Station, a symbol of hope for peaceful relations with the conclave. Species. Chief Medical Officer Nathan Reeves rubbed his tired eyes. For months he had studied the medical files the aliens shared. Tonight, something finally clicked. "Computer, compare these baseline metabolic rates again," he said, tapping his screen. The results confirmed his suspicions. Every conclave species had significantly lower metabolic rates than humans. Their cellular regeneration was slower. Their muscle density was a fraction of human strength. Even their neural pathways processed pain more intensely. The door to his lab slid open. Kelly Anderson, the station's communications specialist, entered with a concerned look. "You need to see this," she said, placing a datapad on his desk. "I intercepted these transmissions between the Zilari and Voth delegates. My translation program just finished decoding them." Nathan scanned the text and frowned. "Containment protocol? Genetic limiters? What are they talking about?" "I don't know," Kelly said. "But they mentioned Earth specifically. And they're scared, Nathan. Whatever they're planning, it's because they're afraid of us." Before Nathan could respond, the station's alert system activated. A calm voice announced, "Minor pressure drop detected in Sector 4. Maintenance crews, please respond. All non-essential personnel, please avoid this area." "That's near the Joint Research Lab," Nathan said, standing quickly. "We should check if anyone's hurt." They hurried through the corridors. When they reached Sector 4, they found a scene of chaos. A panel had ruptured, causing air pressure to drop by 15%. Human technicians worked efficiently to seal the breach, their movements quick and precise despite the thinning air. What caught Nathan's attention, however, were the Conclave representatives. The three aliens, a Zalari, a Voth, and a Medusan, lay on the floor, their bodies curled into protective positions. Medical assistants administered emergency oxygen. "What happened to them?" Kelly asked. "The pressure drop isn't that severe." "For us, maybe," Nathan replied, kneeling beside the Zalari delegate. He scanned the alien with his medical device. Their oxygen absorption rate is collapsing. Their bodies can't adapt to the change fast enough. Later, after the aliens recovered in the medical bay, Nathan met with Captain Olivia Bennett in her office. He placed his findings on her desk. "They've been lying to us from the beginning," he said. "These species evolved on worlds with minimal environmental stress. No major climate shifts, few predators, stable atmospheric conditions. They never developed our adaptability because they never needed to." Olivia reviewed his data. "You're saying humans are physically superior? In terms of endurance, recovery, and adaptability?" "Absolutely. The pressure drop today would barely make a human lightheaded. It nearly killed them." The captain's communication panel chimed. "Bennett here." "Captain, it's Lieutenant Eric Johnson. There's been an incident at the mining operation on Proxima B." Lieutenant Johnson had been assigned to a joint mining expedition. His hologram looked battered, a cut visible above his eye. "What happened, Lieutenant?" "A tunnel collapse, ma'am. We lost 2 Voth workers." Johnson's voice was tight. "I was with them when it happened. We were all buried under about 20 feet of rock." "How did you survive?" Olivia asked. Johnson touched the wound on his forehead. "Honestly, I don't know. I dug myself out over several hours. The Voth, their exoskeletons, shattered under the pressure. But that's not why I'm calling." He leaned closer to the camera. "Before the collapse, I overheard the Voth supervisor talking to someone on their communication device. They said, 'The humans are becoming too established in this system. The containment timeline must be accelerated.'" Olivia exchanged a look with Nathan. "Return to the station immediately, Lieutenant." After Johnson's image disappeared, Olivia called an emergency meeting with her senior staff. They gathered in the secure conference room. Captain Bennett, Ambassador Wright, Security Chief Martinez, Science Officer Clark, Communications Specialist Anderson, Medical Officer Reeves, and Lieutenant Johnson after his return. "Let's put the pieces together," Olivia said. "Dr. Reeves, start us off." Nathan shared his findings about the aliens' physical limitations. Kelly explained the intercepted communications. Daniel added observations about behavioral patterns that suggested deception. Finally, Eric described his experience in the mine. "This wasn't an accident," Lisa Martinez concluded. "They're testing our physical limits while planning something called containment." Ambassador Wright looked troubled. "But why? We've honored every restriction they placed on us." "Because it's not about what we've done," Daniel said quietly. "It's about what we are." He activated the room's display screen, showing comparative physiological charts. "By their standards, we're monsters. We can survive radiation levels that would kill them in minutes. We heal from injuries that would be fatal to them. We can go days without water, weeks without food. Our muscles are 5 times denser than theirs. Our reaction time is twice as fast." "We're not monsters," Olivia protested. "Not to us," Daniel agreed. "But to species that evolved without predatory pressure or environmental hardship, we might as well be invincible." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "So what do we do?" Ambassador Wright finally asked. "First, we need proof," Olivia said. "If the Conclave is planning to contain or neutralize humanity, we need evidence before we take action." "I have an idea," Lisa said. The Zalari ambassador Trazik seems more sympathetic to humans than the others. If we confront him directly, he might confirm our suspicions. The next day, Captain Bennett invited Ambassador Trazik to her office. The silver-skinned alien entered cautiously, his large eyes scanning the room where Lisa and Daniel waited. "Ambassador," Olivia said pleasantly. "Thank you for coming." "Captain Bennett, what can I assist you with?" Olivia didn't waste time. "We know about the containment protocol. We know the Conclave sees humans as dangerous. What we don't know is why you pretended to welcome us as equals." Trazik's skin flushed a deeper silver. "What?" Daniel had identified as a sign of stress in Zalari. "I don't know what—" "Please," Olivia interrupted. "People have died. More will die if this deception continues." Trazik's shoulders slumped. "We had no choice. Your species—" He struggled for words. "The Conclave has a classification system for intelligent life. Most species fall into categories, like social builders or collective thinkers. And humans?" Lisa asked. Trazik looked at each of them. "Apex predators, the only spacefaring species ever classified as such. When we detected your transmissions, the Conclave voted to establish diplomatic relations not as a gesture of welcome, but as a means of monitoring you." "Monitoring us for what?" Daniel asked, though he suspected the answer. "To determine if you're too dangerous to be allowed among the stars." A heavy silence filled Captain Bennett's office after Ambassador Trazik's revelation. The alien's large eyes refused to meet the gaze of the humans. "Apex predators," Olivia repeated, her voice calm despite the anger she felt. "You make us sound like animals." "Not animals," Trazik said. "Just dangerous. Your entire evolutionary path is unlike anything in the Conclave. You developed on a world that tried to kill you at every turn." Daniel leaned forward. "Every species evolves to survive. In their environment." "Yes, but your environment was extreme," Trazik explained. "Most Conclave species evolved on worlds with stable climates, predictable food sources, and few natural disasters. Our bodies never needed to develop the resilience yours did." Lisa's eyes narrowed. "So when you invited us into the Conclave with all those restrictions, it was containment, not welcome," Trazik admitted. "The restrictions were designed to limit human expansion while we studied you further." Back in the secure conference room, Ambassador Wright pounded his fist on the table. The senior staff had reconvened to discuss Trazik's confession. 2 years of diplomatic missions, trade negotiations, cultural exchanges, all a sham. Wright's face was red with anger. "Not entirely," Olivia said. "Trazik claims some Conclave members genuinely want peaceful relations. Others see us as an existential threat to be eliminated." Samantha Willis, the station's intelligence officer, entered the room carrying a data pad. Her expression was grim. "Found something you all need to see," she said, connecting her pad to the main display. "After hearing about the containment protocol, I dug deeper into the historical archives they shared with us. The screen filled with images of strange, reptilian beings. The Krelthak," Samantha explained, "a spacefaring species from about 300 years ago. According to these records, they were managed by the Conclave after being deemed too aggressive." "Managed how?" Daniel asked. Samantha swiped to the next image, a barren planet. "The Conclave engineered a civil war among Krelthak colonies. By the time it ended, their civilization had collapsed. Their homeworld is now a protected nature preserve with a pre-industrial population." More images appeared. A crystalline species confined to a single planet surrounded by automated defense systems. A gaseous life form whose reproductive capabilities had been secretly limited through engineered viruses. "This isn't diplomacy," Lisa said quietly. "It's pest control." "And we're next," Wright concluded. Olivia stood. "Not if we act first. Trazik has agreed to arrange a meeting with those members of the Conclave who favor genuine cooperation. We need allies." The meeting took place the next day in a neutral section of the station. Besides Trazik, 2 other aliens attended. Kelnar, a blue-skinned philosopher-scientist from the Medusan species, and Vreen, a plant-like Florian diplomat. What Trazik has told you is true, Kelnar said after introductions, but not the complete truth. Explain, Olivia demanded. The fear of humanity isn't just about your physical capabilities, Kelnar continued. It's about your minds. Your species embraces conflict, seeks out challenges. You're the only known intelligent species whose recreation often involves voluntary physical pain or risk. You mean sports? Daniel asked. And exploration, Vreen added, her leafy appendages rustling. Most species establish colonies only on ideal worlds. Humans settle anywhere you can possibly survive, then reshape the environment to suit you. That's called adaptability, Wright argued. It's called terrifying, Trazik countered. A species that willingly endures hardship for fun, that sees obstacles as challenges rather than warnings, that evolved as pack hunters. He shuddered. The majority faction in the Conclave believes you will eventually dominate us all. We've never shown any aggression toward the Conclave, Olivia pointed out. Yet, Kelnar said, they fear what you will do when you discover how much stronger you are. Which we now have, Lisa observed. The aliens exchanged nervous glances. What exactly is this containment protocol? Wright asked. Vreen's leaves darkened, her species equivalent of a blush. A 3-stage process. First, restrict human expansion and study your vulnerabilities. Second, engineer conflicts between human factions to weaken you. Finally, if necessary, direct intervention. Genocide, Lisa translated bluntly. Only as a last resort, Trazik insisted. But yes, some Conclave members advocate for preemptive measures. Olivia felt ice in her veins. How far along is this plan? Phase 1 is complete, Kelnar said. Phase 2 begins soon. There are agents already positioned among your colonies, identifying potential disputes to amplify. The information struck like a physical blow. Humanity had been celebrating its entry into a wider galactic community, while the Conclave plotted their destruction. We've seen your military simulations, Vreen added. Your ships, while fewer in number, are more heavily armored. Your weapons are designed for maximum damage. Even your emergency protocols assume worst-case scenarios. We design for safety, Daniel argued. You design for survival against all odds, Trazik corrected. No Conclave species thinks that way. The meeting ended with a tentative alliance. Trazik, Kelnar, and Vreen would provide information about the containment protocol, while the humans promised restraint in their response. Later that night, Olivia sat alone in her quarters, watching the stars through her viewport. Her communication panel beeped. Captain, it's Johnson. You need to see the news from Proxima B. The screen switched to a news broadcast. A human settlement on Proxima B was in flames. The reporter's voice was tense. At least 2,000 colonists are confirmed dead after what authorities are calling a reactor malfunction. Rescue teams are still searching for survivors. Olivia's blood ran cold. Johnson, get me intelligence, Officer Willis. Now. Within an hour, Samantha had the evidence. It wasn't a malfunction. The reactor was sabotaged. I've identified unusual communication patterns between Voth officials and an unknown ship that left the system just before the explosion. The containment protocol has begun, Olivia said, her voice hard. They're not waiting for Phase 2. They're moving directly to elimination. She called an emergency meeting of all senior staff. When everyone had assembled, she stood before them, her face set in grim determination. 2,000 human lives have been lost, she said. Not in an accident, but in a deliberate attack. The Conclave has shown their true intentions. They see us as monsters, as apex predators too dangerous to be allowed among the stars. She paused, looking at each person in the room. Perhaps it's time we showed them they were right. The mood on Unity Station changed overnight. Gone were the friendly smiles and polite conversations. The human staff moved with quiet purpose, their faces hard. News of the Proxima B attack spread quickly, along with rumors of Conclave involvement. Captain, Bennett called Earth with the evidence they had gathered. The response came within hours. All diplomatic ties with the Conclave were suspended. Human colonies were placed on high alert. The military vessels that had been kept at a respectful distance now moved closer to Unity Station. In her quarters, Olivia studied tactical displays. The human fleet was outnumbered 5-1 by Conclave ships, but as Vreen had noted, Earth vessels were built differently. They were designed to take damage and keep functioning. They were made to protect their crews at all costs. A soft chime announced a visitor. Lisa Martinez entered carrying a small device. "Is that it?" Olivia asked. Lisa nodded. "Dr. Clark finished it an hour ago. It's ready." The device looked simple, a metal cylinder with a few buttons. Its purpose was not. "Have you tested it?" Olivia asked. "On the Conclave communication systems we have access to. It works exactly as designed." Olivia took a deep breath. "I never thought we'd be the ones to start a war." "They started it," Lisa reminded her. "We're just finally fighting back." The captain's communication panel lit up. It was Ambassador Wright. "The Conclave High Council is demanding we turn over Unity Station for inspection," he reported. "They're claiming the Proxima B incident was caused by human error, and they need to ensure our other facilities are properly maintained for safety." "A pretext to plant more sabotage," Olivia concluded. "Decline their request." "I already did." "They're sending ships to enforce compliance." "How many?" "A small fleet, 3 battlecruisers and support vessels." Olivia looked at the device in her hand. "Then it's time." The plan was set in motion. While the Conclave fleet approached Unity Station, a smaller human vessel quietly detached. On board were Lisa Martinez and a strike team of 20 security personnel. Their target, a Conclave military installation hidden on a moon in the Alpha Centauri system. The same installation that had coordinated the Proxima B attack, according to Trazic's intelligence. Daniel Clark watched their progress from the science lab. His role had changed dramatically in the past days. No longer just observing alien biology, he was now using that knowledge to identify vulnerabilities. "The human body is remarkable," he explained to the team of engineers working with him. "We evolved redundant systems, multiple ways to process oxygen, the ability to function despite significant tissue damage." On the main screen, he displayed diagrams of Conclave species biology. They didn't. The Zilari have a single, centralized nervous system. The Voth depend entirely on their exoskeletons for protection. The Medusan respiratory system shuts down under even mild stress. "So what are you saying?" asked one of the engineers. "I'm saying we don't need to kill them to stop them. We just need to inconvenience them." On the small attack vessel, Lisa briefed her team. "Remember, these species evolved without predators. Their fight-or-flight response is almost entirely flight. When confronted with danger, they freeze or run. So we use that," said Ben Harris, her second-in-command. "Psychological warfare." Lisa nodded. "Exactly. We move fast, we make noise, we appear threatening. Their instincts will do half our work for us." The Conclave military installation loomed ahead. Unlike human military bases, it had minimal exterior defenses. The Conclave relied on secrecy and distance for protection, not expecting anyone to find them, much less attack. "Deploy countermeasures," Lisa ordered. The ship released dozens of small drones. Each carried the device Daniel had designed, an electromagnetic pulse generator specifically calibrated to disrupt Conclave technology without affecting human equipment. The installation's lights flickered and died. Emergency systems tried to activate but failed. In the sudden darkness, Lisa's team launched their assault. They wore night vision goggles and moved silently through the alien corridors. When they encountered Conclave security forces, the aliens reacted exactly as predicted, with confusion and fear rather than organized resistance. "This is too easy," Ben whispered as they secured another section. "They never expected to be hunted," Lisa replied. Back at Unity Station, Olivia faced the approaching Conclave fleet. On her view screen, the alien commander appeared, a Voth with elaborate helmet markings indicating high rank. Captain Bennett, you have been ordered to surrender this station for inspection. Comply immediately. I'm afraid that won't be possible, Commander, Olivia replied calmly. We have evidence linking Conclave operatives to the attack on Proxima B. Until this matter is resolved, Unity Station remains under Earth jurisdiction. The Voth's mandibles clicked in agitation. You have no authority to make such accusations. Surrender now or what? Olivia interrupted. You'll destroy us, kill more humans, isn't that your plan anyway? The alien commander faltered, clearly not expecting such directness. We know about the containment protocol, Olivia continued. We know what the Conclave really thinks of humans. The masks have fallen, Commander. At that moment, a signal came, through from Lisa's team. The display showed the captured Conclave installation, with Conclave personnel sitting in holding areas, unharmed but clearly frightened. As you can see, Olivia said, we've taken control of your secret military base, in this system, the one that coordinated the attack on our colony. The Voth commander's exoskeleton paled. Impossible. That facility is uncharted. You forgot who you were dealing with, Olivia said. Apex predators, remember? We're quite good at hunting. She leaned forward. Now I suggest you withdraw your fleet immediately, and inform the Conclave High Council that humanity requests an emergency session, not as supplicants, but as equals. The commander hesitated, mandibles twitching. Or, Olivia added, we can continue this demonstration of why your people classified us as dangerous in the first place. The Conclave ships began to retreat. On the captured installation, Lisa's team discovered files detailing the full containment protocol, including plans for biological weapons designed specifically against humans. They were never going to accept us, Daniel said, reviewing the files. No matter how peaceful we were. Because they couldn't understand us, Ambassador Wright replied. Their evolutionary history never prepared them for a species like ours. Later, as the human fleet secured the Alpha Centauri system, Olivia met with Trazik, Kelnar, and Vreen. Your actions were restrained, Kelnar observed. You could have killed everyone at that installation. That's not who we are, Olivia said, despite what the Conclave believes. The High Council has agreed to your meeting, Trazik informed them. But they are afraid, more afraid than ever. Olivia looked out at the stars, thinking of Earth, of Proxima B, of all the human colonies now at risk. Good, she said. Fear can be useful. It can make you listen when nothing else will. The grand chamber of the Conclave High Council was silent as Captain Olivia Bennett stepped forward. Behind her stood Ambassador Wright, Lisa Martinez, Daniel Clark, and the other human representatives. Across from them, the 7 species of the Conclave watched with a mixture of fear and curiosity. The chamber was designed to impress and intimidate, with soaring ceilings and seats arranged to place visitors at a lower level than council members. Today, however, the humans had refused this arrangement. They stood on equal footing with the aliens who had plotted their destruction. 2,000 human lives, Olivia began, her voice calm but carrying throughout the room. That is the price we have paid for your fear. 2,000 men, women, and children who believed they were living in peace with their galactic neighbors. Murmurs rippled through the Conclave representatives. Some looked away, unable to meet her gaze. You classified us as apex predators, she continued. You saw our strength, our resilience, our ability to survive where you could not, and you were afraid. So afraid that you decided to eliminate us before we could become a threat. The head of the council, a Medusan named Zorthal, raised a hand. Captain Bennett, the actions at Proxima B were taken by extremists within our ranks. The High Council did not authorize, but you authorized the containment protocol, Ambassador Wright interrupted. You approved a plan to limit our growth, to study our weaknesses, and eventually to engineer our downfall. Zorthal could not deny this. The evidence recovered from the captured installation was too clear. What do you want from us? Asked another council member, a Florian with deep red leaves. Reparations? Territory? You have proven your military superiority. Name your terms. Lisa Martinez smiled coldly. You still don't understand us at all. Daniel stepped forward, activating a holographic display in the center of the chamber. It showed the Earth, spinning slowly. This is our homeworld, he explained. For most of our history, we fought each other. Tribe against tribe, nation against nation. We nearly destroyed ourselves more than once. The display changed, showing scenes of human conflict, then of cooperation. Scientists working together, cities being built, space stations constructed. But we learned, Daniel continued. We learned that the same traits that made us dangerous, our persistence, our adaptability, our willingness to face challenges, could be directed toward creation rather than destruction. Olivia took over. You were right to classify us as apex predators, but you failed to understand what that really means. Enlighten us, Zorthal said, his tone wary but interested. In Earth's ecosystems, apex predators don't just kill, they maintain balance. They protect the health of the entire system. Without them, other species overpopulate, resources are depleted, and the entire ecosystem collapses. The display shifted again, showing Earth's natural predators, wolves, eagles, sharks, and their role in maintaining healthy environments. This is what we propose, Ambassador Wright said. Not revenge for Proxima b, but a new kind of conclave. One where each species contributes its evolutionary gifts rather than fearing differences. The council members exchanged glances. This was clearly not the demand they had expected. You could have destroyed us, said a Zalari representative. Why didn't you? Because that's not what apex predators do, Olivia replied. We don't kill without reason. We protect. As if on cue, alarms began to sound throughout the chamber. Screens activated, showing a massive solar flare erupting from Alpha, Centauri's star. The Jorkal colony, exclaimed a Voth council member. They're in the direct path. The radiation will... We know, Daniel interrupted. The flare was detected by our sensors 6 hours ago. That's why we brought this. He gestured to a device that had been carried in by the human delegation, a portable shield generator designed specifically to protect against stellar radiation. Your ships can't reach the colony in time, Olivia explained. The radiation would disable their systems before they could establish a stable shield. But our vessels are hardened against radiation. We can protect them. Why would you help them? Asked Zorthal. After everything that's happened? Because that's who we are, Olivia said simply. Humans protect what's under our care. Within hours, human ships had surrounded the vulnerable Voth colony. Their shields, designed to withstand even Earth's harshest environments, held against the solar storm. Not a single colonist was lost. When they returned to the council chamber, the mood had changed. Fear remained, but it was mixed with something new. Respect. Your actions have given us much to consider, Zorthal admitted. Perhaps we have been too quick to judge based on physical capabilities alone. The true measure of an advanced species isn't their physical strength, Ambassador Wright said. It's how they choose to use that strength. In the following months, a new alliance formed. Led by the philosopher-scientist Kelnar, a group of conclave members began working directly with humans. They called themselves the Bridge, a connection between humanity and the wider galactic community. 1 year later, Olivia stood on the observation deck of Unity Station. Beside her was Kelnar. They watched as a new ship prepared for its maiden voyage, the first vessel with a truly mixed crew of humans and conclave species. They're still afraid of you, you know, Kelnar said. That won't change overnight. Fear can be healthy, Olivia replied. It teaches caution, but it shouldn't prevent progress. The new ship, named Coexistence, moved gracefully away from the station. Its mission was to explore regions of space that neither humans nor the Conclave had visited before. I've been studying your Earth history, Kelnar said. Your apex predators, the most successful ones, didn't just hunt. They adapted. They learned. They protected their territories and their young. And the most successful ones, Olivia added, found ways to coexist with other species. Below them, in the station's main hall, a new generation of diplomats and explorers prepared for their own assignments. Human strength and endurance paired with conclave knowledge and technology. Earth's protective instincts channeled toward defending all sentient life. You were right about us, Olivia said, watching the coexistence activate its drives. We weren't here just to talk. We are apex predators. The ship disappeared into the darkness between stars, carrying with it the hope for a new understanding between species. But that's not all we are, she finished. And that makes all the difference.